We did lose our mind to the X-Men 97 preview. That was the first one that we saw.
So embarrassing. I cried.
I saw.
I cried.
I was like,
let me explain. The show looks really good.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Breakroom. I'm John.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I'll give you another take. Welcome back to the Breakroom. I'm John Costa, dipping out of frame. Joining me today, Jessica Clemons.
Dipping out of frame.
She's back. Evan Yee.
Getting into my hole.
Time.
Get into your hole.
Oh, that's
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Getting into
Call
his
the police.
little hole. Hey, we're talking Marvel animation today. A few of us just got to go see a couple of episodes of What If Season 2. We can't talk too much about that, but that's okay because it's coming sooner rather than later. What we can talk about is the post-credit scene to the event, not to the show. They were like, here at Marvel. And they showed us a trailer of some upcoming animated shows. And folks, this is in the teleprompter. Not my real opinion. They look good.
I love them.
We were freaking out.
My opinion is they look great. For our live Twitch audience, as we said, drop your questions in the chat. We'll discuss some of those at the end of the episode. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you're like, what are those questions that they were going to ask? Follow us on Twitch. Come find us. We'll answer those questions. They'll still be there. I have to go. I'll be right back.
Okay. Do you think that they were lying about? I don't know why I'm an idiot. Do you think they were gonna actually not release the trailers today?
Like the trailers for that we saw yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, no. What we saw yesterday was like a combination of different trailers all cut together, and I do think that they probably will release that in full at some point. 2024.
I don't know. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Is no one else scared? I think when they released that teaser, I was the only one that was like, is this why it only looked like you guys had one thing coming out next year? Is because you have 3 animated things now coming?
That's interesting.
Because
Okay.
I got scared.
Yeah, it was scary. I mean, you scared because there's too much? You think the...
No, I was just like, I was banking only on Deadpool. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
Deadpool's the only thing they have. And then when they dropped that and everyone was like 2024, I was like, did they know? Do they know? Do they know?
Do they know?
Was it just a surprise?
Yeah.
But I did freak out. I was screaming for X-Men 97.
I had to do something illegal.
Well,
Illegal?
I'm back.
I mean, and speaking of losing our minds, we did lose our minds to the X-Men 97 preview. That was the first one that we saw.
So embarrassing. I cried.
I saw.
I cried.
I was like,
let me explain. The show looks really good.
Yeah.
The show looks really good. I have a very personal connection to some of the folks that worked on that show, and it was like a very, it was emotional to, see a project that a friend has worked hard on for a very long time come to life. So.
oh my God.
And then I called him afterward, and I was like, ah! And I felt embarrassed because I'm sure he was like watching the football game with his girlfriend, and I was like,
He's
sorry.
like, leave me alone. Hello?
I don't want to talk about work.
Oh yeah, I wonder if
Yeah, my bad,
that
dude.
sucks. Talking to him about Marvel is like work for him. I'm like, oh, I guess it's work for us too. I was like, I'd want to harass him 24/7. But no, that X-Men 97 trailer looks so good.
You
So good.
What do you want to do a reenactment?
Of how I acted.
Should we switch seats?
You were crying, and
I was crying. You were
grabbed
like,
John!
I said, Mohawk
that
Storm! I was screaming. And it's also like a press event where everyone is like,
people were going for it.
But they were also, no one was screaming.
Everyone was a lot more professional during those episodes of What If, but then when the trailers came out, everyone was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's true. And it was a room too full of like crew from What If also, and so it was great that they got to see their work on the big screen because we probably won't see What If on the big screen ever.
That's right.
That was the biggest screen we'll ever see it on.
It depends. I have a theater in my house.
Oh,
Do you not?
Spotify
Do you guys
money.
not? Oh god. But no, X-Men 97 looked amazing. I think out of the 3, that's probably I might be speaking for a lot of us. What most people are excited for the most. It's we've been waiting, and it looks so good.
I mean, there's even a part where Cyclops just goes, "To me,
Yes.
my X-Men," and it's so good.
and it was like the right close up, and it sounded, because a lot of the voice actors are, I think, a vast majority of the voice actors are coming back for the show, and man, this was I was reviewing a video today that we're putting out in a couple weeks, where Eric had people ask him questions on Twitter. And one of the questions that people were sort of asking the most was like, how does Marvel get out of their like slump or whatever? And he made the argument that like, I don't know, look at these projects that are coming out soon. Man, that X-Men 97 trailer or the parts of it that were X-Men 97, that was like, we're locked in. This is like exactly what people, if they want this show, it's exactly what they want.
Yes.
It's
It makes me feral. Seeing Cyclops and what Cyclops should be was magnificent for me.
Yeah.
And same with Wolverine and same with Storm. And as soon as Rogue showed up, I went,
the X-Mansion looked great.
And then we knew what it was before the song came on, but that song made it hit. I said,
that's what it sounds like.
do you think, do it again, do it one more time, do it one more time. Do you think that the get the way out of the Marvel slump was through animation?
No.
You know, okay.
Because
it feels like they're banking a lot right now.
They started making these shows before the slumps or whatever, right?
Okay.
But I do think that like these shows take a lot longer to make.
Absolutely.
We were at this What If thing. They did a Q&A. They said that season 2 of What If is their pandemic season, which is crazy to think about, right?
Yeah.
Like they had written all of season 1 pre-pandemic, and they started working on these season 2 episodes in 2019 into 2020. So like that gives you a good indication of like, man, they have time to spend on these stories and to get the animation right, to get the voice actors in there.
Do you think it's on the story? I'm wondering why it would take so long.
Well,
as someone that worked in animation, it did not take that long.
Yeah,
but,
Bob's is quick.
But that's also the thing. Bob's was on like what 15 seasons, and it was like we worked at Fox, where The Simpsons, Family Guy, all of them were there. So it's a lot easier of a streamlined process, I bet, than it would be for.
Well, I think specifically part of the thing with the X-Men, which is really interesting, is that it's going to be like a revival / a reboot of the series that people know, and so I think some of it is like, how much do we want this to physically, look and feel like that show? Because I think the look is very similar. But there's something about the motion. When I was seeing it, I was like, oh man, I thought they were going to swing a little bit harder, have it be a little bit more jittery. It felt very smooth, which is very good. And it's what you want now out of like a modern animation.
That's interesting. It's an interesting point. I wonder if it'll become polarizing, because I said to my friend on the phone yesterday, like, man, it really feels like that original series, but they've just like taken the animation to a new level. But yeah, maybe it will kind of break people and be like, oh, this doesn't quite feel the way that I thought. It was really like punchy and contrasty from what I remembered, in contrast to another show that we're going to talk about in a second, which was Spider-Man. What's the new title of it?
Your Friendly Neighborhood.
Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is a little more, I think Dashel said, like Archie comic. Not in a bad way, but... yeah, it was a little flatter.
Yeah, and I have like a comp for that, like a little piece I want to bring up for that too. So, and that's the thing about all these series and What If as well too. Like they all have different animation styles, and I wonder if that's part of like why they wanted to like kind of bank these, because not only we don't know how these series will tie into the MCU, if at all. And maybe that's part of like what they're figuring out as they're like, coming together with these things. Because elements of all of these shows, especially as we go through them, could, right? Like I think the most likely way we could see X-Men, the 97 appear in the MCU or be connected is through, Deadpool 3 or through any type of like throwaway, like the way Spider-Verse, like it's like there's a Lego world or something, just for like a few seconds.
I mean, it has to be. It has to be. Maybe not like too upfront wise, where it's like, oh, Wolverine died in this universe, which means he can't die in that universe. It's like, no, they'll probably keep it a little separated. But I was stuck in my bubble about like, why would it take them so long? And I forget that like, you don't have a lore master for Bob's Burgers or Family Guy or Futurama or any of those shows. And poor Marvel has to literally make sure everything's up to. They had to make a book just to be like, "Will you guys be quiet?" And I'm like, "No, you're wrong still." A little bit of
behind the scenes tidbit. I think I've told this on the channel before, but like every character that they want to use in any Marvel movie, television show, animated series, has to run through like the are we okay to use this character executive, like, oh no, we wanted to use that character on this thing or whatever. So like you're right, that also impacts the writing. And you know, I can't say this for certain, but I'm sure that there have been times where they were like, oh shit, well, we really wanted the story to go in this direction, but we can't now.
You
We
know
have to rewrite it.
damn well the reason it took so long was because of Wolverine.
Honestly.
they were like, well, we gotta go send this to Disney, gotta send this to Ryan Reynolds, gotta send this back to us. And that's the thing, some people just take their time responding to emails. Evan.
I thought you were going to come at me because I am.
Do you not respond to emails?
I'm on Slack, baby.
We text in Slack
message.
a lot. Last night, because so when we go to this What If event, it's at the Disney Studio lot in Burbank. It's very fun. It's very beautiful. It's everything I dreamed of. And when we get there, you kind of get lost.
Yeah.
It's like a big lot that's also still shooting things currently.
Yeah,
And
could you figure out what was in that warehouse?
No, I couldn't.
was like,
Did
what's
you?
going on?
With your camera? You come in with your camera?
This is in Atlanta. They're probably just shooting, what's an ABC show? I don't know anymore.
I hate you so much.
Person of interest. That show is not on the air anymore.
If we ever got invited to like something in Atlanta, you'd be like, well, should we just swing by real when you're going out?
I can take a couple photos.
I called Evan like 4 times. Evan's phone went direct to voicemail. And I said, oh, he blocked me.
My phone is on Do Not Disturb.
No,
like
he did.
90%
No,
of
he's
the time.
lying. He told me he blocked you.
It's on 90% of the time.
I will say, that's what I love about... It's like that old story of like, oh, well, Steven Spielberg just like walked onto the Warner Brothers lot and got a job or whatever, which like doesn't really work now. But if you have a drive on, which is to say like security has your list and you can drive your car and park there, we could have walked into that soundstage and there was no one there. It was all lit. We could have like gone and taken a fucking selfie on the set of Friends.
Elementary.
There we go. Is that still on?
When I went, the side note, and then we'll go back. I'm so sorry, you guys. When I worked at CBS, I would always go onto the lot, but CBS didn't have the fun shows. It was it was like
the Radford lot?
Yeah, the Radford lot, which is like, it was
the little bitch lot in LA. Yeah.
stop. I know we're not the Santa Monica
Brooklyn
one.
Nine-Nine shot there.
Well, not when I was
not a
there.
CBS show,
Not when I was there. But it was like one show about like a donut store that maybe got like 2. Wait,
what was that show called?
It has Katie Seagal in it. I can't
Superior
remember.
Donuts.
Yes!
Based on a play. One of our old clients wrote on that show. It was not good.
Yeah, well, I snuck on all the time, and Katie Seagal was very nice. And I
Echo
always
Killen was
remember
not on
that.
that show, was it? This is
He might have been.
Oh, maybe it was Echo. It wasn't a writer.
I
Maybe
think it was
just
Echo Callum, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you love Echo Killen.
He's great.
You said he's very funny.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going. So sorry.
Anyways,
so sorry to hijack.
Wait, hold on. So this isn't a show about Superior Donuts, a show that ran for 2 seasons that got canceled 5 years ago?
No,
I gotta go.
It's about. I wrote it, and I'm just being quiet right now.
We need the
You guys are hurting my
residuals.
feelings.
That was on the old deal.
Oh God. Anyways, hey, to bring it back to X-Men, this show's picking up right after the animated series. So there was a synopsis from earlier this year that Marvel released where the Storm and Wolverine try to continue the X-Men. We did see a lot of Storm, saw a lot of Wolverine. in the
Good,
trailer.
and some good Storm.
Yeah.
Good
Great
Storm.
appearances. Magneto comes in and wants to step up for Charles Xavier, aka leading the X-Men.
Yeah.
Did we see Magneto last night?
I don't remember.
No, I don't think
I
we
don't
did.
remember, right?
Well, to be
don't
fair,
remember.
my eyes were glued on Storm.
My eyes were a little teary.
I was crying.
And something I'm sure we didn't see actually is that Mr. Sinister is the last line of the synopsis. Sinister comes in to try to end the X-Men once and for all, and so he's supposed to be like the big bad this season. But I don't think we saw him. At
Do we not?
I
Maybe
don't
I'm just thinking about
remember.
Marvel Snap.
Yeah, I know.
To be fair, I didn't feel like this trailer was like. They were just giving us what we wanted. Or not what we wanted,
We
but
should
like
say.
they were showing us like the best clips.
That's
And I was
really
like,
important.
Yes.
It was like, you know how like sometimes a trailer starts out and it's like, when I was 14,
Yeah.
my mother was crushed by a truck or whatever. And then at the end of the trailer, it's like, punch, zing, bow, eh. This whole trailer was punch, zing,
Yeah, it was.
bow,
But
bleh.
it literally
And so
was
like it was so fast. It's like hard to kind of relay exactly what we saw.
helicopters, the mansion, they all land, the Cyclops being cool as hell. It was the, I mean, well, we should move on, but like those outfits were so crisp and so
Yeah,
good.
they look great.
I was just watching it like, damn, I guess it's been long since I've seen those outfits.
Yeah.
It's been this long.
Two things. Oh, and then the last thing is that Xavier is missing. We saw a statue of Charles Xavier, but he's missing because at the end of the animated series. So spoilers for those who are watching it right now. Take out your headphones. he gets injured really badly. He's taken to the Shi'ar Empire, so he's taken to space basically to heal and recover. So that's why Magneto's stepping in. That's why we don't see Xavier. I imagine that since we know we're getting a season 2, possibly even a season 3, that Xavier will be back. Hopefully, he's so iconic.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, Charles Xavier?
Charles.
Professor?
Like the college?
Like the college?
Xavier?
The Ivy League school? I hope Magneto
is he
shows up for some reason and goes crazy.
I know. I mean,
He's-
he'll be there.
Did I tell you what my nickname for me as a Magneto fan is?
No.
Wait, maybe I should say it on stream.
Oh, I know. Wait, I remember now. Yeah, never mind.
It's very good. You get-
Magneto?
Oh, close.
That's all I got.
Okay,
That was
well,
the guess.
It was basically that. I called
Yeah.
myself a Magneto.
That's what I said.
You said Magneto.
I said Magneto.
I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
Check the mics. Playback.
You get-
Magneto? I gotta go, guys.
I just want to say before we move on.
You thought that the nickname was just me saying Magneto?
Yeah, like Cheerio. I was like, why would you say that? I was confused.
Evan, the show's not yours anymore.
I know.
Jessica and I are taking it over.
I don't know why I tried. I don't know why I tried.
Well, the problem was being like, oh, Jessica and John.
Yeah.
Maybe separate us.
This is a good. I was like, maybe I could sit in the middle, but I.
You
but then
wanna
I was like,
switch?
maybe no, I can't. The
Oh,
laptop.
like your laptop.
Yeah.
And I'm not sitting over here.
But Matsu's.
Doesn't even make sense.
User Montesaurus says, first time writing in chat. Hello. I can confirm that Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Superior Donuts shot at the same time. Former Radford Lot worker. Here.
Let's go! Let's go! We got our details right!
We got Radford. Fuck Santa Monica.
Oh God.
Even though they're the
okay.
cleaner one. I think the Santa Monica one has the late night show host or the early morning host. Like, not Jennifer Hudson, but someone like that.
Jennifer Hudson?
Jennifer Hudson has a daytime show. Did you not know that?
Why are they giving any musician
One.
the fucking Kelly Clarkson show?
Because in between they can do like a singing bit and
James
it's just entertaining.
Corden.
Yeah.
It's just entertaining. Could you imagine if like who was the tap dancer from the 50s?
James Corden.
If he got stop, shut up.
The guy from Singing in the Rain? Fuck.
Yeah.
what was his name?
I was like
Gene
Clark
Kelly.
Gable. Yeah, Gene Kelly. If Gene Kelly would get his talk show, like if he was,
I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah, that would be a great talk show.
You know that scene in that movie, Good Morning? That's like that. That's like.
That is true. I would get that.
I'd watch the shit.
Good
I'd
morning,
my little
good-
coffee. Got
You
my
know they had
eggs.
the worst time on set during that scene.
Yeah, because
Gene
Gene
Kelly's really mean.
has a racist attitude.
It's only
Anyways,
white
do we
people.
think X-Men 97 comes out before Deadpool 3?
No, it can't.
No, it
Yes,
can.
it will.
Yes.
I guarantee you.
When's Deadpool's coming out in like
Whoa.
March?
Deadpool's coming out in July.
Oh, whoa, I'm off. Never mind. Maybe I am wrong.
And I promise you all the show will be out before then.
Okay.
And
You can't
that I say
spoil this
that
for
not
us.
as someone who actually knows when the show is coming
yeah.
out. I don't think they know when the show is coming out. But I do think that like there was some rumors, some scoops that it was coming out in early 2024.
My birthday? On
No,
the day that
that's when
Echo
Echo
shows
comes
up.
out.
So we're thinking, okay, we'll do this at the end of the podcast because if we in a podcast, it's a podcast now. It's a podcast.
You guys, it's back.
it's back.
Follow the feed.
Follow the feed, please.
Make that a shirt.
Please follow the feed. We'll do this at the end because if all these shows are coming out in 2024, it'd be really interesting to kind of like think about all the Marvel properties and like where they go in the year.
I do
So-
want to. I think that would be a fun conversation. How many of these movies are coming out next, or these shows are coming out next year?
Yeah.
We should talk about that. Hey, check out nerdriot.shop for a ton of great merch to celebrate the holiday season. We've got some great new designs inspired by What If, including this cool like Christmas story Iron Man leg that like weirdly gets a shout out in one of the episodes of What If. Don't tell anyone. We've got this great Best Bubs design that's on mugs, it's on shirts, it's everywhere. Get ready for Deadpool 3. The X-Men lover in your life is gonna want this under the tree. Now we are a little bit past the guaranteed before Christmas date, but hey, we're not that far. You could risk it. You could give it to someone the day after Christmas. We're all gonna be seeing our friends and family if you celebrate that holiday. So grab a tee from Nerd Riot. It's a great way to support the Breakroom. Genuinely, there's like a line item in our, hey, this is how much money we made this month, and it includes merch. Look at that. See, help Evan. Help him out. Make him look good.
God.
Make him look good. I said there was not going to be any cuts. Here we go. Head to the link in the description, nerdriot.shop. Oh, and we have an ornament. Look at it. Zach flew in with an ornament.
Whoa.
Another Best Bubs product, because we really like that design. We also have one more thing I want to shout out. We got a great mug with like Loki ascending to become the god of stories.
heavy.
It's so new, we don't even have it in yet, but it looks great. Head to the shop. We also have that OB we're all gonna die thing. We turned it into a throw. It's getting cold out. Drape your loved one in a nihilistic phrase. Nerdrat.shop.
Wow, that's a sentence.
Do you remember
That's a sentence.
when you could elf yourself for Christmas? With your
I
friends
elf
and
myself
family?
every Christmas.
Oh my God! You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
you put your
yeah,
face on the little dancing
yeah.
elves.
Do that again?
Yeah.
They go. We are a pack of wolves, a pack of animals, and they
boy.
cannot control us. Oh, Eyes of Wakanda.
Here, yeah. So this was a big surprise, right? We knew that there was a Wakanda series happening. We didn't know if it was live action. We didn't know if it was animated. It was highly rumored to be animated.
Quite honestly, like we're generally kind of plugged into the Marvel stuff. I had no idea that this show was as far along as it was.
What did you guys
100%,
know
yeah.
about it?
I knew that they were like maybe working on a Dora Milaje show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I knew that, and so that is the Eyes of Wakanda.
I imagine.
Me? Yeah.
Again, this wasn't heavy on plot. It was just like shot, cool.
Yeah.
Do you remember around the time, like right after Wakanda Forever, they released a book about the history of the Dora Milaje? I always say it the way Angela Bassett says it, like I am Angela Bassett. The Dora Milaje.
Well, she did the thing.
She did the goddamn thing, and I'm not Angela Bassett. I'm Angelica Casket. That's a good.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda never. That's what her tagline is. Oh, there you
That
go.
was me dying.
Oh, because you're so good.
Because you would
That's
casket.
a good drag name, Angelica Casket.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's a good one. But that book that came out like around the same time, and I can't remember who wrote it, but it was someone that did help with the Wakanda Forever podcast. He like.
Oh, it was
the-
what's his face?
Yeah. Oh my God. I know.
Jeremy? No.
That's my brother's name.
I'm trying to remember. Yeah.
But I think he helped with it or forwarded it or something. But it was a book that they actually did end up putting, like, using a little bit of the details from. So I wonder if that's gonna make its way into Eyes of Wakanda.
It's gonna
Yeah.
piss me off forever.
I know. I'm so mad. I forgot it.
Who was the host of the Wakanda Forever podcast?
And it's the host. He's every episode there basically.
Oh, Tanasi Coates.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Anyways, yes, the series was really cool. A lot of shots.
Is it Jeremy or is it Ta-Nehisi? I always get that mixed up.
I did think that. I think must have had like DC on the brain, so we were talking about it last night. Yesterday. We were talking about it yesterday on the show. I was like, oh, I wonder if this was like.
I'm so sorry. Evan, don't leave. Evan, Evan, it's a very black name and a very white name at the same time.
Is this a YouTube short? I don't know. Is this content?
Jeremy?
Is it? I'm pretty sure. He goes by Jeremy. Okay?
His middle name is Jeremy. Jeremy Coates.
Jeremy Coates is a good name.
We almost didn't do a show today.
No, Evan, I'm so sorry.
This show is free.
Welcome to the stage,
show
Jeremy
is free.
Coates. Because the drag queen name.
Oh.
Drag
That's
queen.
good. That's good. So when we were watching the trailer, I was like, oh, is this like a history of Wakanda thing? Are we just gonna see like how it was formed or like, the tribes coming together? And it's kind of like that, but we weren't given this synopsis, which was published today by Marvel, which says it's the series about throughout Wakandan history, brave warriors have been tasked to travel the world retrieving dangerous vibranium artifacts.
Huh.
This is their
The
story.
world?
The world. So
Do you think that's like we're taking back our vibranium from like colonizers who came
Yeah.
and stole it? Or is it more similar to like we know from Wakanda Forever that there's vibranium in more than one place and they're just being protective over their sort of most valuable resource?
I think it's the latter. But I was going to add on to that question by being, who is going? Is it different? Is it the Dora Milaje or is it the people in the mountains? Or is it the people down here? Like, there's different factions in Wakanda, so it's like, watch them be like, I'm not going. Because they also each
Well, the
protect
Dora
it.
Milaje, I believe, is made up of many different tribes.
Oh, yeah,
the
they
River
are.
Tribe
They are,
and
yes.
the Mountain.
It has to just be them because the other tribes are watching different entrances to Wakanda.
They got those drums that they need to.
Let me
be
tell you
ready
right
for.
now, I love those drums. They'd be like, Jessica, get rhythm. We're stuck.
good to
We
me.
can't get out. No, that also does the animation not and maybe I just need to see an image of it again. Does it not remind you of like Clone Wars-ish?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
But not in a mean way, not a bad way.
I did have two. I had two comps that I had Dash will bring up. So when I was watching it, it was very unique. So this is what I was talking about yesterday, where Disney Plus worked on this anthology series called Kazazimoto. It was 10 African stories.
That's right.
And it was so it was each story was like animated differently. But it reminded me of that, as well as the other image, Dash, if you can bring it up, of Arcane, if you have it. If not, we'll add it in post.
I'll describe all of Arcane if you need me to.
But it was this kind of like 3D looking thing, which is why Clone Wars is like a really good like comparison as well, where it was like 3D, but like also a little bit more like roughly rendered as far as like the shading and stuff like that. Had a very like hand-drawn.
Marvel's already going to be working with Lucasfilms all the time, so it's not surprising that maybe they took some notes. It's funny because the Netflix, all theirs looks exactly like Arcane, just everything looks like Arcane now.
Yeah. I mean, Arcane was like such a leader in like changing animation. And
Who was it that had a really bad quote last night?
Was it me?
He was like, we didn't want What If to look like anime because we wanted it to look...
Oh, he did say that.
He wanted it
to look good.
No, that's not what he said.
He said I wanted it to look like ours,
our,
which sounded bad.
like something from our culture or something like that. And I was like, bad quote.
Bad quote.
Bad tweet.
I think I blacked out.
Bad tweet.
I heard it because I remember being like, he's not trying to offend at all, but he's dancing so hard that
you know
it's
what?
offending.
You should have either not said it or come up with a better version of it, saying like, hey, we didn't end up wanting it to look like anime because we thought that this particular art style fit these stories a little bit better.
And that's all. But he didn't know how to say that.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Give these people media training. Come
on. So it's really it is very striking, the style. So I'm interested in seeing like what we're gonna get out of it. And if it's exploring the history, like, do you guys think we're gonna see more of like T'Chaka, T'Challa's dad? Like,
that's a good question because we saw a lot.
What if?
And correct me if I'm wrong here. Most of the stuff we saw from Eyes of Wakanda was women.
Yeah. There was like one man.
Did we
there
see
was one man with a beard.
A Black Panther in the shots? I don't remember seeing.
Remember?
I feel like we would have remembered if there was like a sick shot.
I don't know. I was still shaken from Storm. And I was like, oh,
bring her back.
Bring her back in.
I don't care about this.
She's also black. Put her in this. Put her in everything.
You know what? Honestly, could
I can't. Once 20 years, this is how I think it's going to happen. In 20 years, when we are blended and we don't have to like fight about who owns what with Fox and X-Men and Marvel.
Disney controls all of us.
When Disney makes our toasters and ovens, we can, that's how I scale it. That's when Storm will just be able to go into Wakanda and I'll be so happy watching it. I'll be 80 like, yes.
We still can go into Wakanda now, though.
I'm waiting. I don't think they're going to cross it all
I
yet.
agree.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I'm waiting like the 20 years for them to do it. I want my baby.
To answer your question more specifically, I would bet that it's a different era.
Yeah.
The T'Chaka era versus this Eyes of Wakanda era. Eyes of Wakanda, I think, is going to be set further back in the past.
Do you think it's going to be like anthology or all kind of like one series, like one connected story?
Let's read the description one more time.
Again, let's scroll up. There we go. Throughout Wakandan history, brave warriors have been tasked to travel the world.
That makes me think it's probably
just
anthology.
Okay.
Throughout Wakandan history, we're probably going different time periods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. I mean, I think that's why maybe we see T'Chaka, or maybe we see him and his brother, Killmonger's father, like on some mission or something. Maybe we see Okoye joining the Dora Milaje, like that's her like kind of initiation.
I would love to see the founding of the Dora Milaje.
Oh,
they talk about it in the book.
That's true.
The book. Everybody should read that book. It's amazing.
What's the book?
Jeremy Coates wrote it. Wakanda history. That's the thing. I'm like, I don't know how far back we can go, unless we're talking about like the original goddess that we're following. Because I'm also like, we were fighting over the.
I would go fucking crazy for a little Bast. I don't know if Bast and the Vibranium are super connected. Sure. Right?
That's why I'm like, it can't go too far back. It'll probably be just like right where T'Chaka is.
Yeah.
I would also kind of love to see like what does Wakanda look like before Vibranium. And I don't know when it's like BC, right? When like Vibranium lands in Wakanda. So you're probably I don't know our history very well, but like you might not have such a differentiation between civilizations back in that day, because like Wakanda now is built to be like so advanced, but if you're going that far back in history, it's like everyone was using the same fucking sticks and
didn't we know
potatoes.
that once it landed they were like, hey, we want it, no, we want it, and there's people fighting over it a little bit, and then
I think the largest chunk of
I can't remember this
landed in Wakanda.
yeah you're saying you want to see what all of the world looked like before?
I kind of would be curious to see a story where like there is a group of, you know, humans living in Wakanda that are just like living their lives, and then the vibranium lands and they're like, what the fuck is this? And then they're trying to figure out how to take advantage of it the most, and like you see the beginnings of like the advanced Wakandan civilization. I think would be a cool story.
I would, if they weren't fighting. I want everyone to get along.
Well, maybe at this time period they were.
I don't think they were. Well, that's the thing. If they're following, you know, what's funny is it's Eric who should not be messaging anybody, who should not be contacting any of us. But no, they still kind of have to follow what they said at the first movie, which he already summed up. So it's like they're gonna be fighting. And I guess I'd fight for it too.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting to go back that far. I hadn't actually considered that and seeing that conflict.
It's the very beginning of the first movie. It's so quick.
Oh, that's
Sterling K. Brown telling the story of how the vibranium
beautifully
landed.
animated.
I remember when I think the first time I saw Black Panther, I showed up late, so I missed all of that. I showed up.
Damn it, Evan!
Yeah, I showed up to Sterling K. Brown like getting murdered.
Did you ever watch it? Oh my god!
I've seen the film twice since. But I was like, that's why I don't remember it, because like I didn't have that first impact of it. But I'll go back and watch it again.
That's so funny. You said I showed up right when he got murdered.
I was like,
what did you do?
But do you think we'll see more Madripoor in this show if they bring it up to like a little bit more present day? Do we think that that's where any of these artifacts are getting like, you know, kind of like sold?
You think this because that's kind of like a black market?
Yeah. I just think there's a lot of, not only could this expand the history, you know, seeing a visual history of Wakanda, but we could also see other parts of the world. You know, I think that's the best thing about these animated series. So specifically this one, you know,
wouldn't it be great if? Man, my brain has been fried.
I know. I was like, I'm doing
wouldn't it be great if you saw like Howard Stark in Madripoor, like slipping someone a 20 to get some vibranium to make Cap's shield or whatever, and the Dora Milaje is like, give that fucking back to us. He's like, sorry.
Give that back to us.
I got a super soldier to build a shield for.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that'd be very fun.
I hope it's them taking back just what's theirs from like colonizers.
Yeah, so let's think about it. So Ulysses Claw had vibranium. Howard Stark had vibranium. That's really it as far as I can remember in the MCU specifically.
What's his name?
For people outside of Wakanda who had.
What's his name had it, or allegedly had it. The guy from fucking She-Hulk. But it made it clear that you can just buy it off at auctions.
Todd? Mm-hmm. He had vibranium.
Yeah, he had a spear from Wakanda. He showed a picture of it. He was like, "Look at this, it's authentic." And then at the end credits, it shows them auctioning off Wakandan gear. So I think a lot of people are auctioning off things regardless. So there's probably just a million people that have it. How many presidents do you think have it?
Oh, every president's got probably like a little bit, right?
That was my favorite part of Wakanda Forever, with them being like, "Oh, it's not safe." Every nation, and then being like, "Oh, we just want it for our own good." I was like, "Yeah, I feel it."
I got some vibranium from one of those like tourists. You put the coins in and
and you crank it and they flatten it out.
Oh, it took me so long to understand what that was.
Stupid.
I was like, "What is that? You crank things for vibranium? Who you cranking?"
Put in a little vibranium and it turned into
and then you
turned into the Mount Rushmore.
You said mine.
You know, it's great.
I used to love those things so
Of course you did. Of course you did. If there was like a
I was like, what do you
bucket
need
of
the
sheets-
quarter for if you just need the penny? Come on.
You gotta pay somehow.
I didn't understand economics.
They should let you pay a dime. Come on.
Come on.
Hey, last one. New Spider-Man show. Honestly, I thought this show was canceled. I didn't think this was happening.
Wild.
Spider-Man freshman year, now retitled Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
You know why I think they retitled it? Everyone online is like, because it's not going to connect to the MCU. And it's not. But I think it's because they were going to have freshman year and sophomore year. And I think that they probably canceled sophomore year.
Oh, you think
just make this a one and done?
Kind of like a limited series.
There were some kind of news that some of the writers had maybe been like released from their contracts or something like that for a sophomore year.
I see.
That's my guess. Again, this I don't have inside info on, but if I guess
that name. The title infuriates me.
Yeah, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is a real mouthful.
I'm like that, and I'm like, okay, because I've been, you'll see it. It's coming out soon. A video about
tomorrow. You can talk about it.
It's a surprise. It's a surprise because we kind of already done it, and I've done a deeper dive into it. But I'm doing across.
Get fucked, Eric. Tell your little kid, your dumb little child, that you weren't good enough. So we did the video again.
Anyway.
We love you, Eric.
Oh my god, he's unhinged.
Evan, I gotta cut it.
Do something.
I gotta cut it.
Look, when me and Evan are on a show, when me and Evan are on a show together, something happens to me.
I become a
I feel like the two of us are like relatively measured people at New Rockstars.
Oh, that we've talked
I have
about,
to do something psychotic, including calling out Eric's newborn.
I think you're a crazy person with or without Evan. but I've been doing it across the spider. Stop standing like that. I'm doing
I'm a what?
I'm a Looney Tune. I am doing Across the Spider-Verse, and I've found just so much information about it, and it has me going into the old Spider-Mans, and I forget. Stop it.
To me.
Stop it. Stop it. I forget how many different variations of Spider-Mans there were. Well, not variations, but the shows. Yeah. And they're all just slightly named a little different than the last.
My favorite thing that you found is an Easter egg connecting Across the Spider-Verse to, weirdly, Finding Dory.
Oh, I took it out of my script. What? I took it out of my script, and it makes me so mad. There is a street in Across the Spider-Verse called Becky Oro. And you go, what the hell is Becky Oro? That's not a street name. If you Google Becky Oro and go to videos, the first thing that's going to show up is that bird Becky from Finding Dory that goes, Aru, Aru, and that's how you get our attention. God. And so I had to piece together who from Across the Spider-Verse worked on Finding Dory in 2019 and track them down. I had to look through all of their social
they're fucking
medias.
Dead, okay? But they still wouldn't tell me what this Easter egg was about.
They said, Jessica, I just do storyboarding.
I don't know. I didn't write that thing.
I go, tell me more.
I need to know who Becky is.
I was so mad. I have not been doing this as long as Eric. So Eric is probably literally a crazy person. Me, I'm becoming one. So I now know how, I texted him like a 5-minute Slack that was like, explain this to me. This doesn't make sense.
What did I say back to you? I was like, I'm not following.
Yeah, you said, babe, this makes no sense. You said, babe, this makes no sense. And I said, I'm going back into it for 2 hours, so.
Back down the rabbit hole.
Whatever.
This Spider-Man show looked very fun.
Doesn't it look like everything?
I think you're lower on the show than I am.
You're high on the show?
Well, I mean, we started
high on the show.
We started affectionately calling the main suit we saw in Spider-Man the dweeb suit. So we can show that first, Ashel.
It's not. He is wearing a hockey jersey.
What are you doing? He just got bit. He's got a fucking.
So they call it the homemade suit, but he really like
Evan.
Yeah.
Let's see your fucking homemade suit.
If you take off your clothes,
Bring
I'm calling the police. I'm calling the police.
What you don't know is that Evan, after hours, has been working really hard on a Mandalorian helmet.
We can still see your face, honey.
Fuck.
honey.
Is that guy from New Rockstars?
Why is he wearing that mask?
Did he just save that child?
Did he just say weird? Well, I just think it was funny because I've never seen like the way the goggles were on his head. Plus, like it almost felt Bane-like the way that all these like canisters were attached to him. It felt very techy for like a homemade suit. That's how I felt when I saw
Bane
it.
got a suit from like Suits R Us or something? And
Yeah, Bane's got a homemade suit.
Do you think Bane shops at Hobby Lobby? Is he problematic?
No, he's probably a Michael's guy.
Oh no.
that's good. No, that's better.
No.
That's better than Hobby Lobby.
Go to Joann's like the rest of us and use your fake coupons. God, cosplayers, you get. No, I'm joking. Cosplayers do not shop there.
We talked about the animation a little bit before, and it kind of reminded me of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which is another animation show they have. We can play the clip that I pulled up just so we can see it. So this is a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more, kids like, but it definitely leans into a comic aspect it's different from like the dots, that are showcased here, but more of just like paper cutouts on top of, a very 2D setting while still having like a 3D, like a slight 3D bent to it.
Keep going.
I just think that Dashel nailed it when he said it looks like an Archie comic.
Oh, yeah.
It does look like an Archie comic. I think it's so funny to watch, because Disney is known for like being animation for children for sure first, and now they're getting into a lot of different branches. Cartoon Network has done that to all of us. Mm-hmm. They have now made us branch out to like every age versus just one child age, and they're just like, okay, Across the Spider-Verse, so like all these other things had amazing artistry. We need to make ours diverse as well. We need to go for every kind of look.
Yeah.
And I like that for them. And that's what makes me want to watch the Spider-Man series, but I'm also still irritated about that fucking name. I think he looks cute too. He looks like, even if he's a dweeb, he does look like the 16-year-old boy. Is he 16?
I think we have the picture of just him without the thing. So yeah, he looks very young. And
that's not a teenager. He has no zits. Where's his pimples?
The spider's
just a spider. Did you ever see a spider with acne? You fucking idiot. Jesus Christ.
That cut. The Dashel ate up those. Dashel's having so much fun with that switchboard. Dashel's favorite part of the day is cutting to our faces. Dashel said, "Oh, this is good."
Now, here's what I really liked. It felt, one of the big. I'm going to come back to the title of the show, and you're going to fucking yell at me for it. But one of the big complaints people have had that I don't necessarily see it as a complaint, but something that I would like is like the MCU Spider-Man stuff has not been friendly neighborhood enough.
True.
And so I'm really excited for like, okay, if we, Peter Parker kind of swings away at the end of No Way Home into like question marks about like, he's disconnected from all of his technology and all that kind of stuff. We do know that like he's got to get some of that back to go do Kang Dynasty, to go do Secret Wars. But I do think like, if we don't get another MCU Spider-Man movie between now and Kang Dynasty, it'll be really nice to have this series where we do see one of the shots we saw was him getting bit. We see that. We get to see, some of his earlier days as Spider-Man. Again, it's not connected to the MCU as far as we know. It's its own. There's Norman Osborn is going to be in the show.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see more of a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man vibe from Marvel. I
feel like the last couple of weeks we've been talking about Spider-Man on the show, like needing more of this kind of like street level and opportunities and stories. And I think that this is probably the way to fulfill that like desire for the audience. We're still keeping like the Tom Holland Spider-Man available for now these like bigger things.
And you know what? Actually, you saying that, I think either Marvel is doing that or isn't, but they should, because it's a really brilliant way of having your cake and eating it too, being like, hey, this is where we're going with the MCU. We're telling this really big story. Yeah. Sometimes your characters are not going to fit neatly into the stories that we necessarily want to tell, but we still want to tell those stories. We're going to do it over here in animation. They're going to be fucking great. And that's our opportunity to tell both stories, which I think would be great.
Spider-Man's our pacifier. It's like the shut up. Shut up, it'll come out soon. I love Spider-Man animated. It's very fun. Yeah. I like how I said animated like I hate the live action ones.
Tommy Holland, dude.
Tommy H?
Tommy H.
Don't know him.
He's the Riz King though.
I almost
I don't know. I saw that Dune 2 trailer with Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet, and I was like,
who do you think has the most chemistry?
You know what? They could be a couple instead.
Okay. He's too busy with Kylie.
He's too busy with Kylie, yeah.
I do also like that. I didn't even think about how much Spider-Man is not friendly to the neighborhood. He's actually kind of anti-neighborhood because he keeps destroying it by accident, and then he'll fix it later. Unlike, Miles did the same thing.
The paradox that people talk about, where it's like, well, the only reason they're super villains is because they're superheroes, and if you got rid of both of them, you just have society as we know it. It's like, yeah, Spider-Man, there's a reason the dude's running around in a rhino suit. It's because you fucking got bit by a spider, you run around like a lunatic.
How dare you? How dare you?
All right, so we said we'd do this earlier in the show. Ooh. We'll do it now. So, again, the shows we talked about today, Eyes of Wakanda, X-Men 97, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. A lot of outlets are saying that these shows are now confirmed for 2024 because last night at the event, Brad Winderbaum said, and here's a look at our upcoming Marvel animation, and we all clapped and we couldn't hear what he said. But it seems like these shows are gonna come out in 2024. X-Men we know is confirmed to come out.
Oh, you say that for yourself. A couple of weeks ago, Disney put out a press release that was like, here's our upcoming Disney Plus things for 2024. Of course, it could not. It could be an incomplete list. Andor Season 2 was not on that list. It was originally slated to come out this coming year. Yeah. I would bet the strikes probably pushed that to 2025. But it did not include Spider-Man Freshman Year / Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It didn't include Eyes of Wakanda. It did include X-Men 97, though. Mm-hmm. So I think all that is to say, like, you know, we will probably not get... We didn't see anything from Marvel Zombies last night.
Talk about a show that's probably getting canceled.
I think it's going to stick around.
Hey, speak for yourself.
I think it's going to stick around. All I'm saying is, like, I think that X-Men 97 might be the only animated show that we get from Marvel next year.
Yeah.
Like you said, a lot of people are running with this, like, you know, 2024 thing. And I'll admit, when we were walking out of the theater, I was like, did he say those were all coming out next year? And I think you said, like, no, he didn't say that. And again, it could have happened over applause. People are very excited. We found an audio recording of the like setup because people at the event could record the Q&A that had happened right before that setup. And we couldn't make out what was being said over that tape. So it's hard. It's hard to know. Yeah. And I think that the truth is, like, even if it is on the slate for 2025 or for 2024, the slate that's set today is not going to be what we end up getting in 2024. Marvel's still moving things around on their calendar.
Yeah, and also then we'd get another situation guaranteed where one of these Marvel shows is going to step on one of the Star Wars shows. And in the case of like Ahsoka and Loki, you know, that kind of like happened a little bit, but I think it was only, 1-2 episodes overlap?
The finale of Ahsoka came out on a Wednesday, and the first episode of Loki came out on a Friday. Or Tuesday, Thursday, technically. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think my guess out of the three is that we get one of them next year. But it might be another what if weird like Christmas release, like where it's like, hey, one episode a day for a week, here you go, and it's over the holidays, so here you go.
Don't do that to us.
I know, I don't want to.
Last night during the what if Q&A,
I was laughing. I was dying.
Last night during the what if Q&A, Brandon Davis was the moderator, and he was like, so what's with this one day after another release? And all of the creators were like, I don't know, it wasn't our decision.
Well, I feel bad because the guy was also like trying to cheer it up. Like,
yeah, he was like, it's like you're unwrapping a gift every day.
Everyone in the audience is full of people that break these videos down.
Not a gift for us.
Also scared. Everyone's shaking. Brandon's a very good interviewer. He is phenomenal. That guy is insane.
Yeah. I'm surprised no one was like, so when you say 22nd, do you mean midnight? Do you mean
I was going to send that email.
Someone should have asked that. Today. Oh, no one asked
No, just when the Marvel PR guy walked out early, I was like, oh, maybe I can grab him outside and ask him that. But then I didn't see him.
I can jump him.
What do you think, Jess? Do we get any of the shows we saw last night next year?
Yeah, I can't really beat what this Goblin King said. The Goblin King. And you think it's Goblin like Goblin, but it's not.
That's it for us today. Make sure to subscribe to the Breakroom channel.
Camera 2? What is this? Camera 2.
Dashel, you need to hit your marks when he makes those faces.
That's right. Why don't we have a D's Nuts button?
Oh, it's pretty funny.
Excuse me?
You said Goblin. Was that not what you were setting up?
No, that's what I was saying. I didn't know there was a D's Nuts button.
I'm saying we need one.
I thought you said there already was one. I was gone for a minute, so when you guys come out with your weird things, I'm like, oh, I didn't say it wasn't. I just said I didn't know there was a D's Nuts button.
Hey, that's it for us today. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, The Breakroom. Give us a follow on Twitch where we do these videos live. Plug socials if you like. Plug Breakroom socials if you don't want to plug yours. Hey, follow Breakroom NR on Instagram, Twitter, /X, and Threads. We'll catch you later.
We're on Threads? That's fucking dumb.
I'm threaded over here.
We thread.
All right, that's it.